All right. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Dr. Lakeisha McKnight, and I'm here with
Mr. Matthew Taylor, what's going on, everybody?
hello, everyone. Welcome to Secure the Bag. This is yet again another money chat, a money discussion. Some people call it a wealth discussion. And this is something that we do every Sunday. Okay. Every Sunday, we try to come on here, we go live with you all. So, in order to catch us, to understand when we're going live, you definitely want to hit that subscribe button and click on the bell. That way, you're notified by YouTube as to when we are going live. Okay. And so when we're here and we're having this money discussion, just understand you may hear me say words like cuz. Now, the reason why I say cuz is because Mr. Taylor is my biological cousin. So we are relatives, we are family, and we're having this discussion. And it's important that as family members and just people overall, we need to have these money talks. Okay. And so this is the reason why we're here. So if you're ready to secure that bag, create a bag, first of all, maybe you need more income. Okay. Maybe you need to understand, how to really grow the money or bring in more money, create that additional stream of income. We have those type of discussions here. And so we have different topics that we address every time that we come on here, and you're probably going to notice that a lot of the topics they kind of collide, they integrate a little bit. And so tonight, Mr. Taylor, what are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about how facts tell and stories sell. And so,
Ooh.
literally, we were just having a conversation, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
about how, we're both communicators, but I'm an educator as well. And there are
Mm-hmm.
times where, because I'm a scientist, I'm an analytical type of guy, there'll be times where I like to talk about technical things. Like, I like
Yeah.
looking at macroeconomics and using, these words, and people be looking at me like, what is he talking about? Right? And so people don't necessarily care about some of that stuff. Sometimes they care about how you connect with them. Like logic and emotion is important, right? But if you're just logical and you never tap into their emotion, then you won't reach them. But if you tap into emotion with logic and it makes sense and you find a connection point, then you'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to reach somebody. And so talk about that, Dr. Cousin, because you're a master, I'll call you a master communicator. You're a John Maxwell train and all that kind of stuff. I'm just a humble servant, just learning from you. So talk about that.
Now, see, okay, all right. Now, I can be analytical if I want to, but by nature, and some of you may relate to this, by nature, I'm more of a stories person. Like if you tell me a quick story to the point, get to the point now. I'm not like, I don't like just like for example, those movies where they're like real slow to get started. You're like, okay, it's an action movie. Where's the action? Like the action don't pick up to like the middle end of the movie. Like, what is that? Like, so we're quick. We just had a conversation, my cousin and I, how if you don't catch people's attention like the first couple seconds or minutes into a movie or a discussion, we're quick to pick up the cell phone and start swiping real quick. We'll get on social media real quick and start swiping. And some of you can relate. Okay. Some of you can relate. So look, tell a good story. Okay. Now make sure there's some substance, some value to the story, and be yourself when telling the story. Don't try to change your voice up. If you want to inflect to kind of emphasize certain things, and this is where my history with different organizations come in that I may have been connected to when it comes to speaking. Okay, there are many organizations out there that helps you with public speaking. I've been a part of quite a few, but as my cousin just said, being a part of the John Maxwell team, they help us to focus in on speaking on stage, which should also help in terms of speaking one-on-one or with just a few people. And so when you're telling a story, there's certain things that you want to consider. I'm just going to give you a couple of tips, everybody. Okay. And we also learned this with our other mentor who's passed on, Dr. Ty Best. He talked about how stories sell, facts tell. You just telling stats and numbers when you're giving facts, but stories sell. Now, you might start a message or a story or a speech off with some statistics or an important date or something like that, just to especially if the date or the number is intriguing, like if it has that wow factor. Like if you say 65%, 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, you're like, what? So majority of the people in this world, they just live from one check to the next check. Like there's nobody truly living. That would be correct. That would be correct. And that's a fact. The actual numbers around about 63, 64%. So here is what we need to consider. When you tell a story, we need to understand the before situation. Like what was going on before you came in touch with the organization you're with, the solution that you have in your hands that's helping you right now. What was going on before then? Okay, we need to know the struggle because that's really what the before paints a picture of. Then you want to talk about how it led up, how things in your life have been unfolding and led up to this climactical point where something had to give. You're like, I just couldn't take it. Like, for example, if you are someone, you're young, you going from job to job to job to job, and it just seemed like you just can't get a job that sticks. Like your money, like is just gone. The moment you get it in, you paying for certain bills, it's gone. Like it's gone. You don't even know where the money is going. It's going to take a point where you connect with an organization or someone to help you change your situation. So for myself and maybe even my cousin here, it could have been when we came in touch with Dr. Tyrone Best and we began to grow in terms of network marketing and grow in terms of understanding what money is and how to build wealth. When we opened up ourselves to that mentorship and education, that was the changing point for many of us. And then we came in touch with different organizations that helped us to provide a platform so we can grow our money. Okay, we had access to different platforms that helped us to compound our money, grow our money in different ways, build wealth. And so that's how the storyline is: struggle, changing, that turning point, and how life is right now. How has life changed for the better? People don't want to hear about, you doing well, life was peachy clean, everything was perfect. That's boring. I can't relate to that. Look, there's certain things we're working out. My cousin, we were talking about how we're going through certain things right now in life. Look, I don't need to hear about no perfect story. Like that, nobody's life is perfect. Okay. So we need to hear about the struggle. We need to hear about how you went through certain things and how you got over. And here, the truth of the matter is everything. Let me just say this for those of you who are going through certain things, and we know this for a fact already, that all these things is happening for a reason because you're doing things right. If you notice that you have no struggle, then it might be some things that look, the spotlight ain't on you. That means you're not doing certain things right. But if you're going through things and you still fighting your way through it, that means you haven't given up. Stay the course. Stay the course. I'm telling you, all of these things are going to work out for your good. It may not feel like it initially. You're like, how is this fun? It may not feel like it because some of the things you have to go through to get to. Okay, you got to go through doors. You got to go. Sometimes you got to run up that mountain, and it may be a stretch. It may be a struggle, but you got to run up that mountain to get to the top. And so it's not gonna feel good, but you're gonna be glad you did, and you definitely ain't gonna want to backtrack because you done came too far.
Right.
You done came too far. So, Mr. Taylor, from your analytical perspective, because he just said he's analytical, okay. Um, what are your thoughts about shifting from being analytical, or at least helping people who are analytical become more of a storyteller?
So here's the crazy part. The dynamic is I'm also a musician, right? And so as a musician, you have to be right brained as well, right? You have to be emotional, you have to be able to connect. And so the side that I think about from our former mentor, Dr. Ty Best, is three words: dream, struggle, prize. In a good story, dream, struggle, and prize. I'll tell you a quick story. We were in a former company, right? And this was years ago. And I was going through a situation where I was transitioning out of one relationship, right? And so I used to do a lot of driving in my car. And we had just started our business. And it was a network marketing business. We were connecting people with assets that dealt with gold. And so I learned through that experience how to really ask the right questions quickly and concisely. So in that experience, people used to come in my car, I used to drive Uber and Lyft, all that kind of stuff. And people would come in and I can sit there just by listening and having conversation with people. Within 2 to 3 minutes, I can tell whether they were somebody that I want to partner with or somebody I did not want to. It's because I would ask three questions. I was, well, what is your goal? Why is this goal important? And how can you achieve this goal? Right. And so with that opportunity where I was driving 12 and 14 hours a day, I was able to sponsor over, I think it was 400, 300 or 400 people into that opportunity because I was asking questions, because I was empathizing with people. And that's what, when you're telling a story, you have to ask questions, right? Especially because I'm an interactive type of guy, right? I'm an analytical, but I'm also an educator. So I do know that it's important to be able to connect with people, right? I do a lot of work with young people, with teenagers especially, and that's a gift all by itself. Praise the Lord. So, so being able to listen to what the person is saying and then asking the right questions, because questions give you clues not only to somebody's past, but it gives you clues to somebody else's future. And so,
good.
especially being a leader where you want to help bring people on a journey, for those leaders that are out there, those content creators, those people that are telling stories, you have to be able to ask the right questions in your story and in the that other people are telling you, that gives you a certain conclusion. It gives them a certain conclusion, but you want that conclusion to be positive, right? You want that conclusion to be that dream, right? That they actually accomplished the dream. I talk about the dream, the struggle, the prize, right? There's a process, but there's also a product, right? There's a test, but there's also a testimony. And hopefully it got some money at the end of that test. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a little bit of, especially the importance of what we're talking about tonight, especially with facts telling, story selling, because it's so important to understand just how important the story is to connecting with somebody else.
That's good. That's good. And see, and that's why I said it's really important to be careful when it comes to relationships. Relationships are critical when it comes to wealth building, when it comes to building something great. Um, and you don't want to burn your bridges. This is another thing too. When it comes to building something great, you want to be mindful of how you're treating other people. And being mindful of the different personalities. You have to be willing to be open to work with different personalities of people. And because it's those other individuals that sometimes we say, oh, I don't work well with this type of person. Let me tell you something. You need them. You need them. When I did a deep dive in understanding the very fact that for those of you who are kingdom ambassadors, believers, when you understand the story of Jesus and the disciples, let me just put it this way really quick. The very fact that you understand that Jesus was both God and man, and the very fact that he understood that Judas was going to betray him, but he still willingly had the Last Supper with them, even though he knew. He still continued. He said, the same person that's going to dip with me in this dish is the one that's going to betray him. And he's like, Master, is it I? He's like, yes, it is you. And they continued on and ate dinner. How many of you, if you knew somebody was going to betray you, will continue to eat at the same table with someone you knew was about to stab you, was going to stab you, and cause the demise of your ministry and of your life? But it still led to something great. See, Jesus knew that it had to happen because he also knew the bigger harvest and result which was to come. So with your struggle, continue to go through it. With the people that come along with you, those who challenge you, those who get on your everlasting nerve, you want to embrace those people too, because they're going to help you to get to the other side. They're going to help you to be stronger. You need those individuals. They're also going to be a part of your story. Because Judas will forever be a part of Jesus's story. So for every Jesus, for every believer, for every ambassador, you might encounter at least one Judas. At least one. And it is that Judas that's going to cause you, to get to your other side, and it's going to be actually a blessing to many, many more people. And it's obvious that in that scenario, it also lets us know when it comes to Judas and Jesus that it could be the closest people to you by which these things happen. And again, it's all a part of your story.
Hmm.
It's all a part of your story. Document, get a journal, write down experiences that you had, the good ones and the not so good ones, because you want to use these things to create your story, your struggle, your turning point, and life thereafter. How has life changed for you? So, with that being said, Mr. Taylor, look, I
We
think we
good.
gave them some good substance tonight.
Oh yeah, you just throwing them 1-2 that last bout.
Yeah, and I threw in some word too. Hopefully we ain't getting to the preachy teachy stuff too much, but I had to kind of help because I know you all are probably like, man, I got some people in my life. How am I supposed to do this? Everybody in all situations is a part of your story. You're going to need it all. And it's going to make you stronger. It's going to cause you to become more keener, more sober minded, more alert. Okay. And so, again, we appreciate you all. Hopefully, you've grabbed some golden nuggets from tonight's discussion as we talked about facts telling, but story selling. And it will motivate you not to just be analytical and just knowing numbers and facts, but also to be open to putting together your story because your story, people are attracted to stories because people can relate to them quicker. They find themselves there. Some people do. And those will be the ones who may connect with you and join you in business opportunities. They may be able to refer people to you because now they've heard your story. Any last moment, golden nugget, cousin, that you want to share?
So you think behind every Jesus, there's a Judas. Behind every David, there's a Goliath. Behind every obstacle, there's an opportunity. So just know that the power of polarity, right? Whatever you're going through, dealing with, there's always an end and there's always a beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
start your beginning with the end in mind. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely. So listen, don't forget everyone, if you've enjoyed what you've heard during this particular video, hit that like button like right now, as you're listening in, right now, right now. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe and the bell because it lets you know when we are going live, when we've uploaded content to the channel, and you don't want to miss it. And if you've been enjoying what we've been sharing, share this channel out. Hit that little arrow, share it out with those that you know who can benefit from a money discussion. But other than that, we look forward to coming back and chatting with you on next Sunday. So until then, don't forget, everybody, to secure your bag.
Bag. Let's go.
All right, now you all be blessed. Take care.